Hello, everyone. I'm Kerry George, and I am from CIBN TV on YouTube. And you can also find us at thecibn.com. That's our website. And today I am going to be talking about 9 strategies to increase business revenue. So you're going to want to stay tuned because each of these strategies is worth about $150,000 a year. So you're going to want to hang on to your seats and get out your pens because this one is going to be a gooder. I'm Kerry George, CIBN TV on YouTube, and again, you can find us at thecibn.com. I'm going to be talking today about 9 strategies to increase your income, your business income specifically. And as I get into talking about this, I want to tell you where this came from. So over the last decade or so, since about 2011 actually, I have been working with business owners in a huge capacity, way more than any business coach would be. We handle thousands of businesses a year, and this has been going on since we launched a business network in 2011. And then in 2012, we bought another large business network, started in one city. Over the years, we have grown, and actually CIBN Connect has become a global empire. And I am in front of hundreds, sometimes a month, business owners of all different kinds of backgrounds, different industries, and I have seen a lot, okay? A lot of challenges that business owners go through, and I've seen some successes, I've seen some epic failures. I've had a huge amount of experience because I have coordinated over 6,000, well, actually it's more like, I think the last count was over 8,000 networking events and more than 2,000 mastermind brainstorming strategy sessions that I have personally facilitated. So in that much working with businesses, yep, I've seen a lot. So over the last few years, I've developed some strategies that really help business owners to increase their overall revenue. And just recently, I started thinking about those strategies and realized that there are 9 of them now that I have accumulated. And as I have been doing this, I've had different people reach out to me and tell me some of the success stories that they've had over the years with working with me and also working with CIBN Connect, my organization. Some of these testimonies are incredible. Like incredible. I spoke to a lady last week who had said she really didn't even have a business in 2018. And today she's doing over $400,000 a year. Another one that went live on our YouTube channel recently had a few sessions with us last summer. Now, of course, they had learned some of the strategies over a year, but after a summer session, they started to really apply them. And in 3 months, he was up to $110,000 in commissions for his business. So that's crazy. You can see that testimony on our YouTube channel, CIBN TV, which is on YouTube. So you can go look at that. It's the Cliff Morgan testimony if you're looking under the testimony sections. So there's just been some incredible success stories. Those are just a couple that come to top of mind. But what we have been using to help these people really get ahead is something that I've now decided to start offering through a mentoring consultation type of service. Now, that is really going to be out of the price range for most people to ask me to work with them personally. But I can share the strategies with you, and some of you might be sharp enough to pick up a couple of these on your own. And I'm going to tell you if you can find this information anywhere as I go through them. I'm going to tell you about a couple of the strategies that any business coach could lead you through. And then there's a few of them that are unique to CIBN TV and CIBN Connect that we created and have worked into a strategy that's been very successful. You'd have to be part of the network to figure that out. And then there's a couple of them that you could only do with hand holding. But let's talk about them. What are these 9 strategies that would dramatically increase business revenue that much? Oh, and one other thing. Somebody said to me, could anyone apply all 9? No, probably not. Anyone could apply at least 3 of the 9, for sure. Many businesses could apply 5 to 7 of the strategies. There are a couple of the strategies I'm going to share that are for specific kinds of businesses that aren't for everybody. Okay, so let's just be clear about that up front. All right, so let's run through them. Today, I'm just going to run through them. This video is going to be part of a series where I actually go through each one of the 9 strategies in deeper detail and actually give you some great, resources and places where you can find out more to apply these things to your life, your business for more revenue. All right, so let's get started, shall we? Woohoo! And by the way, feel free to make comments in the comments section and ask me questions, because I wouldn't mind at all answering your questions and figuring out a way to help you personally if you're along on the call today. Okay, so let's get going, shall we? First one that I like to do when I'm working with a new consultation client is I look at all the things that they currently have. And I think step one, the number one thing that will bring in revenue usually for them is a repricing. So we look at what are they offering right now? Is there a way of repackaging it? And could that repackaging include a much higher ticket? Could it improve? Could you just take the basic stuff and add more value to it? Or could you create a way that you could turn it into like a subscription type thing? Now, why would I want to do that as a repackage with a client? Well, it's incredibly important to see if you have to continually sell something. It's very transactional. It's really hard to get out of the rat race. You're kind of like a hamster on a wheel. You're just running and running and running and running. And you go out there and you get a sale, and then you're delivering for the client and you forget to make sales, and your business revenue is doing this because you go sell and it goes up, and then you go to work working for the client and it goes down, crash, and you go sell and it goes up and back and forth. So what you want to do is get out of that by creating packaging that works for you more longer term, where you don't have to sell continuously, but it sells itself in some way. And I have already created a video on our YouTube channel on that subject, and you'll see it there already. It is called Repackage. So you're going to see that, and I'm going to link these together in a series so you can find it. Okay, so we've already done that one. Now, the next thing that I like to do, the second thing, is I look at their time management, and I have a strategy for that. It's a time management strategy. There's probably business coaches out there that teach this or work with you with this, because I know I learned it many years ago from a business coach, and she actually walked me through and showed me how to figure out where I was spending the majority of my time and what things in my life and business made the most money. Now, why this was important is because as we did some exercises, we established that 20% of what I was doing was creating 80% of the income that my company was making. And that's probably true for most of you as well. So what we then did, once we figured out what was the 20%, where I was spending 20% of my time that was making 80% of the income, could we possibly delegate things out so that I could spend more like 40% of my time on that thing? Because if I was able to double the amount of time that I spent on a thing that made 80% of the revenue, that right away would double the revenue of the company. And for many people, if you're looking at right now, you're bringing in $60,000 a year and you're looking to get to that $150,000 mark, a simple tweaking of your time management could do that. And now there's a whole strategy on how to do that. It's not as simple as just telling you, double your time spent on that thing. There's a whole strategy on how do you figure out what that thing is. And also, of course, there's many strategies on how to scrape the other stuff off your plate. And that was kind of cool. The testimony, I heard this last week from somebody who had said how much we had impacted her since 2018. I know that one of those things that was implemented in her life was this time management thing. I know back then in the beginning, she couldn't see herself ever having one person work for her because she felt uncomfortable in that space. But today, she was telling me she has 4 people working for her. And what an increase in revenue that has made for her in her field. So that is awesome. And that alone, that strategy can bring in, again, $100,000, $150,000 a year or more. I think in this person's case, it was actually significantly more. Just the restructuring of where time was spent and putting focus on something that was going to create more overall revenue for her. So that was the second one. Number three is a LinkedIn strategy. Yep, a LinkedIn strategy. Now, I'm going to get into that in a future video, more about how it works. But I want to just tell you this. It's not the slimy attempts at talking to you through your chat that you're used to getting. And if you've ever been on LinkedIn, you know what I'm talking about, right? You know that message that gets sent to your inbox and it says, hey, I'm talking to you because you're a chiropractor. And you're like, I'm not a chiropractor. How did this get in my inbox? Yeah. So we actually have a LinkedIn strategy that we've been using for years. And way back when LinkedIn was brand new, I started talking to people on LinkedIn and creating a method of getting them to book time with me where I closed appointments after talking to them. And right way back in the early years of implementing this, it started bringing in about $150,000 a year for CIBN Connect. And it's one of the main strategies that we use to build the empire. Now, can it work for other businesses? Yes, it can. In fact, over the years, we've taught this strategy to many of our members, and many of them today have thriving businesses because they're using it. One of the most obvious is actually someone who helps other people do it. Her name is Darlene Petrie. She's absolutely phenomenal. She soaked up the strategy like a sponge and put it to work. And today is so good at it, she's turned it into her own service called Book, where she books appointments using LinkedIn and working through someone's LinkedIn profile to do it for them. And it works really, really well. And it's a great way of getting more business for yourself, landing those appointments to a targeted audience, and then landing the sale. So that's the third one. And the fourth strategy is very interesting because it makes the third strategy and the other strategies work. So the fourth strategy is a sales strategy. It's about selling. Over the last decade of doing this, one of the things that I have realized working with business owners is that they often don't know how to sell. Now, that is critically important. If you don't know how to sell and you're going to get leads from LinkedIn, but you don't know how to close the deal, how would that even help you? Because if you can't close the deal, you can't get any sales. And the same is true with networking. For years, we invited people to come in and say, hey, come and meet new people, set up collaborative relationships, get new clients through networking. And we show people how to do that very, very strategically. And I couldn't figure out why some of them still weren't making any money. And it took me a while. I'm sorry, I was kind of slow, but I suddenly realized just in the last couple of years that the real problem is that they sucked at selling. So at CIBN Connect, we actually created a level of membership called the Max Plus program, where we focus on sales training for the networkers to show them exactly how to do things like script their infomercials, script their sales meetings, script their follow-up, and create scripts that work, and then show them how to work the scripts. Incredibly important, because when they don't do that, they don't have any data and they don't know what to improve upon. And they're closing like 1 out of 10 or 20 when they should be closing 1 out of 4 or 5 minimum. So the Max Plus program has solved that for us. And today it's a strategy that we implement, because anyone who can increase their ability to sell is going to add to their bottom line. Not only are they going to add to the bottom line because of their own ability to sell, but they'll also then be able to create a sales team working in their company or their organization that will also know how to sell. Now, why this is so important is because how the heck are you going to hire someone to sell for you if you don't know how to sell for yourself? And I've met so many people who say, well, I'll just farm out my sales and I'll get somebody else to do that. Well, good luck. If you can't close the deal and you're the owner, how would you expect anybody else to learn from that? What would their processes be when you didn't give them the processes? So it's really important that we learn to do those things. So that is the next one is selling. And once you complete the sales piece and you become better at it, and you start to use it like a strategy to grow out your business, what's going to happen next is then the LinkedIn strategy is going to work better for you. And the fact that you repackaged and had a better offer put together, that is also going to work better for you, because you're going to be able to close the deal. So you see how all of them work kind of together. And usually one person doesn't just implement one of these strategies, they implement one and then they work on another one. I know when I take a consultation client, I actually look at their business and we do a lot of in-depth, assessment first. And I look for the low-hanging fruit where we're going to find the quickest win, the fastest, to bring them a return on investment. But I'm also looking at usually 3 strategies that could be implemented within 3 to 6 months. And we're going to start with the first one that is the easiest, but already knowing what the second and third one are and how we're going to move from one into the next one. I think that makes sense. All right, so that is the next one. I'm looking at my list on the wall here. The next one I have is something you can only learn at CIBN Connect, and it's called the collaboration strategy. Over the last several years, I have used it myself to bring in a lot of revenue, and I've shown some other business owners how to use the collaboration strategy to do over $150,000 a year for their business. There's pros and cons to it. I think the pro is that it's relatively easy to learn how to do. A con is that you'd have to do it within an organization like CIBN Connect, because what it is, you're looking for collaborators who have the same target market as you do. And although those may be easy to identify, often if they're not part of the same business organization, they don't understand why you're wanting to get together with them more than once. The collaboration strategy requires a series of meetings with these people, because nobody's going to give you their very best client that's paid them a lot of money if they don't know you and like you and trust you. So the collaboration strategy works really well with those who have the same target market and those who know you, like you, and trust you. Another thing about the collaboration strategy is a lot of people will hear me talk about it and their mind immediately jumps to, oh, that's like a JV partnership. JV partnerships could be another one. It could be number 10, but it definitely is not the same thing. Okay, and there's many coaches out there that can teach you how to do JV partnerships. Those are joint venture partnerships. But the problem with a joint venture partnership to truly be effective is that usually you're looking for somebody who has a certain amount of influence and an email list to do a real proper joint venture strategy, where the collaboration strategy can be done by just about anybody with a business of any kind. And it doesn't matter if they don't have a big email list, and it doesn't matter if they don't have influence. It is better if they have at least a few clients who already trust them. That would be helpful. But most business owners have had at least a few clients. And if you're brand new in business and you haven't had any clients, you could be set up to do it with others who are like you. So it is a strategy that will work with most businesses, most business owners, most entrepreneurs could implement it. But it takes a little bit of training to figure out exactly how to do it. And what we have found at CIBN Connect, it also takes some hand-holding to bring the people together to get them on board to doing it. The ultimate end result of a proper collaboration strategy working is that you have 5 people in a pod that give each other 5 warmed up referrals each month. Are you doing the math? And these 5 warmed up referrals are buyers, people who have bought from them already. And that's a game changer. Because if I refer you to somebody who I think might be interested, but I don't know, it's not as high quality of a referral. If I refer you to someone who is not my personal client or buyer from me, then I don't know that they have the means to buy from you. But if they have purchased something from me and it was $2,000 or $10,000 or $25,000, and I refer them to you, then we both know that if they decide to not purchase from you, it wasn't because they didn't have the money. Hello? So a warmed up buyer is a much higher quality referral than any other kind of referral. I hope that makes sense. I know it sure does to me. Okay, so the next one that I want to talk about is a high ticket offer. Now, the first one I talked about repackaging, that's repackaging your general program or general offer. But there is another level to that, which is a high ticket program. And I often see people jumping into high ticket programs immediately, or they're buying a coaching program or something that tells them that they need a high ticket offer. Well, first you need a high impact, high value offer. And that's the first one that we show you how to do in the repackaging. Later, you need a high ticket offer. High ticket means 5, 10, 25,000 and up. Those are high ticket offers. And a lot of people, you know, if you haven't figured out a high value, high impact offer, how confident are you really in asking for the money for a high ticket offer? Hello? So these things kind of got to be done in succession. Usually there's got to be some order to it. You can't usually jump to that one at the bottom of the list first, if you know what I mean. All right. So what else is on my list? Well, there's a couple of strategies that don't apply to just everyone. Okay. I think I'm up to like 7 already here. The 7th one is membership. Not everybody can put together a membership. So it's not necessarily for everyone. And if you were going to put together a membership, you should definitely do a founders program to launch it, which should create $10,000 to $20,000 at least right out of the gate in the first couple of weeks. So that is an entirely different strategy. Okay. And it only applies to those that can gather a following around themselves and bring in people in like a membership-based business. But it's a great strategy if you have the kind of business that you can implement it. And if you have a membership business, you see, this is something I've been running a membership business long before that was sexy to do. We've been selling memberships for CIBN since 2011. And I've worked with many membership-based companies over the years, some of them doing it, you know, online subscription. but way back, even before then, worked with golf courses and things like that to sell memberships. And it's basically the same concept, only the price tags are a lot bigger. So we've been doing this a very long time. Today, as I work with membership-based businesses, there's another strategy that can be awesome for that type of a business. And that, of course, is sponsors. Sponsorships. Sponsorships can be sold if you have a tribe. If you've got a group of people that you already influence, that you can get the sponsor's business or the sponsor's offer in front of, boy, that can be an incredible strategy for the sponsor as well as for you as the person who's offering that, because sponsors will typically pay $5,000 a year, $10,000, $20,000, $100,000. Really depends on the size of the business, the nature of the sponsorship. But that is something that we've become experts at over the last decade, because we've had sponsorships from within CIBN Connect since 2012, the second year of our operation. And we also at CIBN Connect have been able to offer a guaranteed return on investment for our sponsors, which not everybody can do. And it's not always necessary either. Recently, I was talking with somebody about about bringing sponsors into her business. And because her tribe is all about a cause, they would love the sponsor just to be part of the cause. So it doesn't always have to do with getting a return on the investment. Sometimes it has to do with a collaboration and a feeling of supporting a cause or something that people want to participate in. There's one more, number 9. Okay, so number 9 is it's a book strategy, but it's not just writing a book. So how many of you have written a book and didn't make any money from it? You wouldn't be alone if you told me that you had not made a lot of money from your book. I've met many people who have written books, and some of them have even been number 1 on best-selling lists. Usually they do that by hijacking the system. They get a bunch of people to purchase books on the same day so that they can brag that they made the most sales in that category on that day. And then they get bragging rights that they're a number 1 bestseller. But yet, as we talk to them over the period of a year or 5 years, we find out that the book made relatively low amount of money. That kind of sucks, doesn't it? What's the point of writing a book if you're not going to make any income off of it? Shouldn't it make revenue? So we have a book strategy that not only makes revenue, but it works together combined with an ad strategy. And together, marketing the book through an ad, but putting some other small ticket items onto the page of the ad. What ends up happening is you sell more from the page than what the cost of the ads were. So the ads can then be making money as the ad is going out, and the ads inevitably pay for themselves. Now, why is this an important strategy? Grows the email list like mad, which gives more ongoing warmed up customers to the business. That's one part of it. But there's also additional offers in the book that lead to high ticket sales. And also, after they have read the book, they tend to want to reach out for other things like consultation, taking the courses, or whatever is offered from the author. Why does this work? Well, it's actually incredible. That particular strategy is worth quite a bit more than $150,000 a year. And you see many big names using that strategy. If you've ever clicked on an ad that took you to a book that you could download for free, and you could see that there were other offers on the page for $27, $47, $150, something like that, that's what they were doing. And if you look at who's running those ads, you'll see names like Dean DeGracio. You'll see names like Stu McLaren. You'll see names like Amy Porterfield and Tony Robbins, and you're thinking, well, yeah, they got the big money. How did they get the big money? Ladies and gentlemen, they figured out a way to make their ads pay for themselves, because if you can do that, then maybe you're starting out with a $500 a month ad budget, but soon you can go to $1,000. So as long as if you spent $500 and you brought in $550, the ads paid for themselves. So you can now afford to do more. Isn't that cool? So that is an incredible strategy that allows people to eventually do $30,000 a month in advertising and up. And that's a game changer. When you can do that kind of thing, it really makes a difference in your ad budget, and the ads are advertising something that has also got a high ticket. So you're now going to do $80,000 a month and up. You're going to be in the million plus category if you can get that strategy to work. So that is another one of the 9 strategies. So let's just do a quick recap, shall we? Number 1 was repackage. Number 2 was time, the management of time. Number 3 was LinkedIn. Number 4 was sales work, sales improvement. Number 5 is the collaboration strategy. Number 6 is high ticket, things like retreats and high ticket offer. Number 7, membership. Number 8, sponsorship. And number 9 is a book and ad strategy, or a free download strategy that continues to pay and pay and pay in the evergreen way. Yeah, I made a rhyme. How cool is that? All right, so these are the 9 strategies, and you're going to want to stay tuned for a breakdown of how each one of them works, and if you could implement it yourself, if a business coach from anywhere could help you put it together, or if you need the help of CIBN Connect. Some of them could be done just by becoming a member, perhaps a Max Plus member if you look at the sales program. Or if you need more hand-holding, it might be something you have to work with me personally. So let me just share a couple of links. And I'm also going to give you a free download today, just for fun, so that you have something really cool here. So first of all, if you want to talk to me directly, this is my email, kgeorge@cibnconnect.com. If you want to send me an email, you can do that. Now, I also want to just come over here and tell you about something else that I had put into the information about what I'm talking about. We have just recently come out with a book that is called Networking: How Entrepreneurs Can Work Together to Outwit the Wolves. What are the wolves? Well, things like lack of revenue causes wolves at the door, for one thing. Lack of time causes other wolves, because when you run out of time, everything is piling up. And, there's also other wolves, like the wolves of taxation, the wolves of you're hiring somebody to do something for you, perhaps like marketing, and it didn't get done, and they just took the money and disappeared. Those are the wolves in business. So this free download tells you how entrepreneurs can work together to outwit those wolves and actually bring in more revenue and do it in a way that is safe and fun. It's fun for the whole family. That is the link for it there. You can see the CIBN.com/outwitting the wolves, and you can go grab the free download from that page. And I hope that helps you today, and thank you for watching along. As you can see, I am Kerry George. I'm a shameless networker, and I'm the CEO of CIBN Connect. And you can find the whole series of this video series is found at CIBN TV on YouTube. When you go subscribe, make sure that you ring the bell, because that will then give you the notification each time a new video in the series comes out, and you're not going to want to miss a thing. So stay tuned, and we'll be talking to you soon. Happy Cap.